we are here because Joe Joyce wanted this fight. That's the reason. We've worked very hard to get there. I think both sides will probably admit it's not been the easiest deal to get done. We thought we had it done and then we didn't, and thankfully we managed to resolve some issues and get it done and over the line. It's going to be a cracking night. It's a stacked card. Really, really, really happy to be working with so many different promoters, including Boxer. Appreciate their support, and particularly from Ben and from Sky for allowing us to make this and to make it happen on BT Box Office. That type of good spirit nature is required in this sport at times, and we sit across the whole card, to be honest, if I'm honest. We've got Lou DiBella working with us with regards to the Anthony Cacace-Michael Magnesi fight. The legend Amanda Serrano looking to unify again in her division, working with MVP Jake Paul and Nikisa. Credit to them for being there. And even our friends at Top Rank for taking this with ESPN+. So this really is a culmination of a lot of different promotional companies coming together, making fights happen, delivering for fight fans. We're going to have a cracking atmosphere in there, enthusiastic about it all. And for me, I just can't wait for it. I think it's one of those, everyone's got their opinion on the outcome of the fight. For me, this guy wins. I think he wins it. I think he's going to win it in style. And that's it. It's Saturday night. At the end of the day, the talking will all be done. But our man, I'm confident in, and that's why we're here.
Before I move over to Ben, just George, obviously you're picking your man here, Joe Joyce, to win this fight. Tell us what he does better than Joe Parker and why you think he's going to win the fight. I
think they're both very, very good fights. I mean, listen, you don't sit number one and number two in a governing body, and obviously up until the fight was sanctioned for the interim title, they held high ratings with other governing bodies, and independent rankings legitimately rate these guys certainly in the top 10. Arguably, both could be sitting here and contested as being top 5 fighters. I just think overall it is Joe Joyce, whose engine, his willpower, his determination, his size and his strength that's going to see him come through this. Joe Parker is a former world champion, a very, very accomplished fighter. He's got a great training team, particularly training with Andy Lee and up in with Tyson. That's certainly going to do him some credit for the fight. But I just think the momentum's with Joe, and I think this is his time to shine.
Well, let's bring in Ben Shalom. Ben, I was going to say welcome, but really you're welcoming us. This is your neck of the woods, Manchester. At the launch press conference, you were pretty adamant that Joe Joyce had made a mistake by taking this fight. Now that we're here a couple of days away, do you stand by those comments and tell us your general thoughts heading into Saturday? Yeah,
I mean, to echo George's word, I think outside the top 4 guys, maybe this is the biggest fight in the division with what's on the line. He mentions Joe Joyce wanting this fight. When we signed Joseph Parker, despite him signing with us, he said to me, Ben, if there is a way to make this Joe Joyce happen, this fight happen, make it happen. And we managed to work with George. We managed to get the terms that Joseph wanted, and George was great with that. But this is the fight that Joseph Parker wanted. Make no mistake about that. And so to be able to get it on for him, he feels like this is an opportunity that is coming at the right time in his career, given he's now with Andy Lee. He's now had a few fights with Andy Lee. He feels like he's coming into the peak of his career. He's 30 years old. He's a former world champion, but he's 30 years old. He's 7 years younger than Joe Joyce, and he feels fresh, he feels ready, he's got the experience, and this, we felt like, was the perfect fight. And yeah, thankfully, with Queensbury and obviously with BT as well, the fight is on, and the fans are happy, and I think the card's very, very good as well, and I can't wait for Saturday night.
Well, let's bring in Adam Morley of S-Jam. So long you've been in the corner of Joe Joyce, and I've heard you say in interviews this week that this is the fight that takes Joe Joyce to the next level.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. I mean, we have tremendous respect. I personally have respect for Joe, but as a team we have tremendous respect for Joseph Parker. A former world champion, but he's got the heart of a warrior, and he's elite. He's at the top level, and he's a world champion, and Joe wants to get there. I think that Joe Joyce can get there, and Joe Joyce will get there on Saturday night. I think Joe's team have at least publicly been saying things which show very little respect for Joe Joyce. I heard someone on their side say he had zero boxing ability. I think you look at this man, he's 14-0, he's going to go 15-0. Find me a British heavyweight that's got his resume at 14-0. He's not fought anyone with a losing record. He's beaten former world champions, beaten Daniel Dubois, who everyone said would flatten him in 2 or 3 rounds. He consistently defies expectations and consistently defies the disrespect that he gets constantly. And I think on Saturday you're going to see the real level of Joe Joyce and what he does when he faces off against a fighter at the very top of the division. No doubt when Joe wins, people will still criticise things. But this guy is going up and up and up and only going one way. And for me, Usyk, Fury, Joe Joyce are the top 3 in the division.
What do you make of comments that are floating around out there from the Parker camp that this could be an easy fight for Joe Parker?
I think sometimes people say things to make themselves feel better. I don't think they're serious about that. I think you've got people like David Higgins, Andy Lee, both very experienced, both understand boxing. It's the opposite of an easy fight. I mean, it won't be an easy fight. I think they both know that. I think they're all trying to make themselves feel confident, give themselves some confidence, pretend it'll be an easy fight. Joseph Parker is saying he's going to finish the fight early. I just don't think that stands up to any scrutiny, that comment.
Let's speak to David Higgins, who I don't think has made comments like that. David Higgins, you've been with Joe for his whole career, as far as I understand, certainly the most part of it. How are you feeling heading into this fight, this important fight for Joe Parker on Saturday night?
Hey, thank you, everyone. We're feeling good, and it's a privilege to be here back in action in Manchester for the 4th time. Joseph's had 3 fights in Manchester so far, 3 wins. And he's been welcomed by Tyson Fury and the wonderful people around him as almost like family. So it's not like fighting in enemy territory. It's almost like a home fight. So we love it here, and we've got a good record here. I think to say that this stuff flies around on social media, but to suggest we don't respect Joyce is silly. We've massive respect for Joyce. There's a reason that most top heavyweights have avoided Joe Joyce. Obviously, that amateur pedigree, the medal, unbeaten, and all those attributes of height and whatever. Like he's a formidable opponent. But our Joseph Parker has never shied away from risk, has stepped as quick as possible into the biggest fights, the biggest occasions, with an eye for the world title. I think the 4th quickest to get the WBO title, backed up against Dillian White, got robbed. Maybe it should have been a draw. We'll talk about that later. But the point being, I think the fans, they don't care about the politics. They want to see the big fights on the big stages, the best versus the best. And I think outside the title holders, in Joyce and Parker, you've got the 2 heavyweights at the very top. Some people are calling it a 50-50 fight. It's an international blockbuster event on worldwide TV. It's intriguing. There's pros and cons with both guys. Obviously, Joyce, we talked about that height, that reach, all of that. But, Parker, look at his resume. Andy Ruiz Jr., Takam, Chisora twice, Joshua, that level of experience, even into the late rounds, you could almost call Joseph Parker a veteran at that level. Joyce certainly has not been at that level. So when Joe Joyce is going to sleep, he might be wondering how he's going to go up at that next level. And credit to Joe Joyce and his team for making it happen. There's been a bit of politics, like it's taken probably nearly a year to make the fight. That's not ideal, but hey, none of that matters now. There's only 3 things that matter. Most of all, who wins a fight, that matters. Second, no one gets robbed by the judges or the referee. You don't have the referee pulling one guy off when he shouldn't be. You don't have judges favouring the close rounds. Nothing against the panel of officials. I think they've all got good track records, and we're just looking for a straight bat that, it's a fair fight. And then the third thing is that all the bills get paid, everyone gets paid. That's all that matters now. Who wins, fair fight, everyone gets paid. So, we're grateful for the opportunity, and thank you for having us.
So, David, just on that point, your money's in escrow.
Yeah, it's an escrow to someone else, not to Parker.
So David, it's in escrow. So
it is, but it's not.
But let's talk about the fight. Okay, it's been a very frustrating time dealing with you to the point that we had to bring in different people to get the fight made. Let's not go down that road. Let's talk about the fight. Your money's in escrow.
Sure, let's talk about the fight then. Question?
Go on. Anything else, David? I mean, I can't. Go on.
I've made my point. 3 things. Who wins? Fair fight. No one gets robbed. Money gets paid. No problem.
Let's bring in.
If Joyce wins, awesome. You know, he deserves it. We just want a fair fight.
Well, let's bring in Ismail Salas. There's a lot to unpack there. Ismail, one of the comments that I heard was that Joe Joyce will be going to sleep on Saturday night. I know you've got a different opinion. Talk to me. How are you seeing this one?
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. I've been following Mr. Joe Parker and his team, his training camp for this fight, and he's been doing a great conditioning. He went to the track and field every day, working hard. But one thing I like to say to the team, you can run, but remember you can hide. When the bell is on, you will see the real juggernauts.
How important was it to get that fight in July? A little bit of activity, a little chance to work on some stuff. How important is that in relation to this fight, the fact that you got out there?
Yeah, every fight is important in this level, no? For Joseph Park or Joe Joyce, is one step forward for get the big fight. So I believe his team is working so hard, like we does. We've been working with so many good sparring partners. We have like 89 round sparring round for this fight. So. Yeah, yes, that's why I like to say, you know. So the hammer fight was break the ice. He broke the ice because it 18 months it was a layoff, no fight for different pandemic or situation. But at the end of the day, we fought. Joe Joyce switch on his engine. We tested his engine. Everybody knew he was a man down. As we will see on Saturday night, man down, man down.
Man down. Well, that feels like a good time to bring in Andy Lee. Andy, you have been quite bullish when talking about this fight. It was yourself that said it could be, and I stress again, could be an easy fight for Joe Parker. You said if you compare the two boxers, they are leagues apart. Tell us more and tell us your reaction to the man down comment from Ismail Salas.
Well, any fight can be made an easy fight, depending on what style you use and the tactics you use. And Joseph Parker has been well drilled throughout this camp. He knows what he has to do to make this an easy fight. I'm not going to say anything about how he should do it, but he knows, and I know. We don't disrespect. I mean, no disrespect to Joe Joyce. We all know his credentials in the sport and what he's done so far. He hasn't fought anybody like Joseph Parker yet. It will be a hard fight, but at this level, that's a minimum requirement to work hard. But Joseph Parker has all the skill, the speed and the talent, the patience and determination to win this fight easy if he does it well.
And you mentioned about them being leagues apart. An opportunity to explain that comment or double down or whatever you want to say.
Who's got the faster hands? Parker. Who's got the faster feet? Parker. Who's more coordinated? Parker. Who's got the most experience? Parker. Who's the younger man? Parker. Who's probably the one, arguably now, with one punch power, knockout power? Parker. So in that sense, when you put it all together, Parker is leagues apart. Joyce is big, strong, good engine, takes a good punch and punches hard himself. we know what we're up against. But as I said, this is elite. Joe's reaching new levels all the time. Forget what you've seen in the past from Parker. You only saw a glimpse of it in the second Chisora fight. Every week, every day in the gym, he's improving and reaching new levels. And he has a different mindset now. He's a different person completely. In his life, outside the ring, and in the gym, and in his preparation and his professionalness. And he's only tapping into his potential. This is just another step for Joseph Parker on the way to becoming two-time world champion.
Well, let's bring in Joe Parker. Joe, I just want to take you back to the launch press conference. There were comments from Joe Joyce where he referred to you as Little Joe Tickle. It went fairly viral. It was quite funny at the time. Do you feel as though he's got sort of no respect for your power, to suggest that your power is ticklish? What do you think?
Firstly, afternoon, everyone. Good to see you on here. Good to see Team Parker here, travel from New Zealand, Team Fury. Welcome, team. Listen, I don't really care what he thinks or what his opinion is on my power or how I fight. He'll get a taste of it on Saturday night. I've done the work, and I back everything that Andy says, and we've put in the work. Me and Andy in the gym every day, grinding away. You got Tyson there joining our runs and our training and cheering us on and bringing positive vibes. So I've done, got the food, the recovery, everything. Everything is being ticked off in this camp. So there's no excuses, there's no doubts, there's no reason why I'm going to go in there and lose this fight. I'm going to go in there and win. And win well.
Do you agree with Andy that it could be an easy night for you on Saturday?
It depends. It depends on what I show up as. Joe Joyce has one style. I don't see any adjustments. I don't see any change. It depends how I show up.
Well, look, he's right here. I just want you to have a look at him. Tell me what you see when you look at Joe Joyce. There's been plenty of videos out there on social media. There's been words like lump used quite frequently. What do you see when you look at Joe Joyce?
A lump. A big man. A man that's confident, a man that's ready, but a man that's going to be stopped in his tracks.
Do you truly believe that? You heard
Yes,
that?
I truly believe that.
Oh, excellent.
I am very confident going into this fight, no doubt. I'm going to stop you right in your tracks. Hype train.
Was that a hype train? Oh, okay.
Well, Joe, let's see. We shall see. We shall see. Joe, happy birthday for Monday, 37 now.
Oh, happy birthday for Monday.
Thank you.
Are you looking to give him birthday beats? Is that the plan?
Huh?
Birthday beats, is it?
No, give him a cake after the fight. 37, very old.
Get my Zimmer frame out. Suddenly, you've been in the sport a long time, actually.
I do. I have.
Seasoned vet.
Very, very much. But I've got a lot more to give. I feel like I'm refreshed and renewed.
Oh, keep repeating that over and over. You'll believe it.
Yeah, I do believe it. That's why I keep saying it.
Joe, Joe Joyce here, and welcome. Good to speak to you. There's something in the build-up, and I asked you about this yesterday as well. Joe Parker here is seeing a psychologist. A lot of boxers do it. There's no problem with it. He's been doing it for a little while in his career. What do you think of that?
Maybe there's something in his, some weakness in his mental capabilities that he needs to work on, I would imagine.
I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to reply to his comments.
Well, look, another thing, Joe. What do you make of these comments that it could be an easy night against Joe Joyce? Is there such a thing as an easy night against Joe Joyce?
I don't believe so. He's going to obviously find out with real-time punches and head, body, and all over.
Look, I asked Joe Parker to have a look at you and tell us what he thought. Here's your opportunity. Have a look at Joe Parker. What do you see when you look at this man? He called you a lump. What do you think of that?
Well, I guess that's the way he sees me. And this big lump is going to be coming at you on Saturday night. And I think your training camp's you've been preparing very, very nicely, and I think it's good to see your family here and everybody here going to tune in and be there and support. So let's get on.
Listen, you're not a lump. Dave's a little lump.
I'm a little lump. I'll take it.
What do you say to that, Dev?
I've gotten very little to say.
What are you going to say to that, Dave?
I've got very little to say. I'm the lump in the middle. But let's get back to the people that actually fight for a living. Joyce, tell me this. There's a lot of talk about how many shots you take. And a lot of the talk from the Parker side is, he takes a lot of shots, he's got a great chin, but how many can he actually take? How many can he keep taking? That's what they're all talking about, your granite chin. Do you feel as though maybe your skills, Olympic silver medalist, unbeaten heavyweight, do you think maybe your skills are a little bit overlooked in this?
Yeah, I've had a really great camp, me and my team, and Salas over there, we've been working on the technique. He's been sending me little clips of things that I need to work on in the fight. So, we're well prepared and done all the biomechanics and the just polishing up of my skills over the last camp. And it was really great to have that fight against Hammer to show I can take 3 or 4 right hands and keep coming forward. So, I'm in a better place, going to, improve upon from all the other, for the things that I need to improve in this fight, like the things I'm working on, etc. So I feel that I'm in the best place coming into this fight, and what a great opponent in Joseph Parker. I really look forward to this. He's, he seems ready, and there's not much more I can say. I just want to get the gloves on and fight him. But we're gonna go through this little talking session here. I hope you all enjoy it.
I think they are enjoying it. Look, Joe Parker, I'm not going to keep you all much longer, but tell me how you see this fight playing out when that first bell rings on Saturday night.
You have to tune in to see. I'm going to come out there and do my thing. I've had a great camp, and I'm ready to go.
Joe Joyce, your right of reply to sign us off?
Yeah, just be there. It's going to be all-action fight. There's going to be skills. There's going to be everything that you want to see. So just make sure you're there and tune in.